Hi everyone, and welcome to this video on adding if conditions to Fiori scripts. Today, we'll go through the process of adding conditions to your Fiori scripts for greater control over data posted to SAP. You'll learn how to select fields, create conditions, and choose operands. We'll demonstrate how to apply operators, enter condition details, and compare columns. Let's get started. If conditions allow you to control data processing by applying specific rules to fields or actions and provide greater control over how data is posted to SAP. When applied, any field in the condition is checked against the condition and is processed only if it meets condition requirements. Conditions provide granular control over data processing and script execution in SAP transactions, allowing you to apply logic based on specific criteria. First, let's look at how we can add an if condition to a script. In Studio, navigate to the Map tab of your open script. Click Expert View. Select one or more specific fields you want to apply the condition to. Click Create Condition. The if condition window will display. This is where you will configure the condition. To start, you'll choose an operand. An operand is the value or object that an operator acts upon. You can think of the operand as the target of the operation. Use column to specify whether an entity, field, or action should occur based on static values or values in your data file. Column filters data based on column values in your data file, allows complex conditional logic, and supports comparing against static or dynamic values. Use first transaction when an entity or action is only required in the first record. This condition will not be applied to the second record or any subsequent records. First transaction applies actions only to the first data record and is useful for initial setup actions like toggling display modes. An example of when to use this operand is the ME22N transaction, which requires toggling the display mode only for the first record. Use not first transaction when an entity or action is only required on the second record and any subsequent records. This condition will not be applied to the first record. Not first transaction applies actions to subsequent records after the first, and is useful for actions like collapsing tables or performing repeated actions. An example of when to use this operand is when you want to collapse header and item tables in subsequent records. The operator is a symbol or keyword used to compare selected fields or perform logical operations to determine whether a specific condition is true or false. Operators help control the flow of a program by deciding which code block should be executed based on the condition's outcome. Supported operators can be accessed from the drop-down. Let's look at an example of how to build a simple if condition. For our example, let's create a condition for company code 0001. We'll start by specifying the condition details. Choose Column. Column allows filtering based on data file values. In the next box, select the column containing company code. After making the selection, click Go. Next, we will choose the operator. For this example, we want the condition to apply to any rows where column E is equal to the company code we will enter, so we'll select the equal to operator. In the next box, provide the value that the condition will use, 0001. At the top of the window, you can see the raw code, where the condition shows that if a field in column E equals 0001, then run script rows 4 through 12. Click OK to create the condition. This will process the specific action set and apply company code 0001 to specific logic. On the Expert tab, you can see the condition. Click the condition in the mapper to view properties. To change the condition, click directly on the condition statement to reopen the if condition window. You can utilize the Add New Group button to add an additional condition for complex logic. For example, we can create a similar condition for company code, but set it to if the column is not equal to 0001. Studio supports two-level conditions. Clicking the plus sign on a condition will allow you to create a nested condition. Clicking the X will remove the condition. Nested conditions have limitations, and some interfaces restrict complex conditional logic. The difference between and or is in how they evaluate multiple conditions. And ensures that all conditions must be true for the entire condition to be true, or ensures that at least one of the conditions must be true for the entire condition to be true. You can create a condition to compare columns. Select the fields that the condition will apply to in the mapper and click Create Condition. Let's say we want to compare the journal entry date with the line item value date for each row that's processed. In the condition details, choose column as the operand. Choose column D for journal entry date and click Go to apply the column to the condition. Select Equal to as the operator. Next, check Compare with Column box. This allows you to compare values between two different columns dynamically. Instead of using a static value, you can compare one column's value against another column's value. Choose column I for value date and click Go to apply the column to the condition. The condition built will compare if the value in column I is equal to the value in column D. Click OK. The condition will display in the mapper. You can use options like Replace, Insert Before, and Preserve for column mapping when selecting condition details. These options provide flexibility in handling column mapping during conditional processing. Choose the option that best fits your specific data manipulation requirements and carefully evaluate which option aligns with your script logic and data handling needs. Replace will completely replace existing mapped data with new data and overwrite all previous mapping for the selected column. Replace is used when you want to entirely substitute the original mapping. Insert Before adds new mapping before the existing mapped data and prepends new data to the existing column mapping. Insert Before is useful when you want to add additional information at the beginning of the mapped field. Preserve maintains the original mapping if the condition is not met and keeps existing data intact when the condition is not satisfied. Preserve prevents unintended data loss during conditional processing. To remove a condition, right-click on the condition in the mapper and click Delete. As best practice for if conditions, make sure to verify that your data preferences are set to As Stored. To do this, click the File tab, click Options, click Data Settings, scroll to Data Read Preferences and select As Stored. As always, make sure you validate data and test conditions thoroughly before processing. You now know how to apply if conditions to your Fiori scripts for greater control over data posted to SAP. Make sure to check out our other advanced mapping videos to learn about adding transforms or requiring data. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.